So when you end the previous episode with Bakugo getting skewered, I mean, that's one way to keep viewers engaged for sure. And with that said, with the way they were going with the whole toga situation, I mean, I was kind of expecting them to end in a way where you would see someone clearly get stabbed, but we wouldn't see the end result, so therefore we'd be even more excited for the next episode. But to my surprise, they actually just decided to toss that bitch to the next room, and honestly, Ochiko, she's got her work cut out for her, but I'm excited to see what they do there, because it does feel like this arc is coming to a close. Not in the way that Shiggy's dealt with, and Shiggy's never going to appear again, but more so just this section, this whole, okay, they either have to win or they're all going to die. It now seems like retreat's going to happen because, I mean, not only did they pop Shiggy out of the tube well before he was ready, therefore, he was fighting without even full strength for most of the fight. And with where he's currently at, I can kind of see Big Boy come in, charge through, destroy some more buildings, and maybe take him away so they all regroup, and the next time they see him, he'll probably be even more deadly than before. But either way, like, the amount of damage that one man who came out of the oven a little too soon could do, the fact that when he's truly at 100%, it's gonna be brutal. Now, there's a full live reaction available on the Patreon if you're interested, of course, but let's talk about this one, because there's two key areas that makes this episode pop in the way that it does. It's the Shigaraki family reunion and Feral Deku. Now, Feral Deku was pretty wild. It actually reminded me of a symbiote from Spider-Man. Like, just the way the head changed, the mouth, it felt demonic and it felt absolutely feral. And when he just came in and bit and just destroyed, like, we only got a brief taste of it, mind you, but it was enough to say, holy shit, Deku losing it versus like a fully powered Shiggy would truly be something to behold, because it's not like Deku's freaking out because of one thing. Like, he's seeing his mentor, he's seeing his childhood friend, rival, the person he's always striving to be and prove wrong, get skewered and stabbed and mutilated, and Shiggy's laughing at it all the way home to the candy shop. So it's no wonder the boy snaps, and to see like the consuming of the hatred and the rage just really take over, to then getting this very interesting detailed world where we saw it in the preview, if you did watch the preview last week like I did, because when you skewer Bakugo, I tend to watch the preview in that case. Usually I won't, but in those cases I will. And it's a very interesting style because it almost feels like you're falling through space, right? You see all these different lights. It almost feels like you're normally as detailed as light speed and stuff. And I absolutely love seeing it just slowly over the course get more full with characters. Like, not only if we remember, and they remind us in this episode, more or less, this is supposed to be Shiggy's grandma, and then when the brother pops up, and then just to see how it's like this, it's not even just simply like Shiggy versus Deku and just those two sides. It's really Shigaraki trying to overpower and become his own person, it feels like, in that moment. And over the course, if you really pay attention to the way he's coming out of his body, at first it starts more or less on the side, like you see his master, his mentor, parasitic level coming from the side, but over the course of it, he morphs and becomes more dominant. And it's a really disturbing scene, but it's a really effective way at getting across the inner struggles that are going on with these characters, to the fact that they end with, Deku being able, charging up with the people around him, able to stop Shigaraki from stealing and destroying, which is really a first in a lot of ways. So it's gonna be interesting. Like, this is all about rematches, it feels like. We're building up to eventually whoever is left standing, who's ever still alive when this section of the season comes to an end. The next time they see each other, they're going to be at full strength. They're going to be at maximum capacity. And a Shigaraki who can do what he can currently. I mean, the only reason the characters are currently alive as it stands, Deku, Bakugo, Endeavor, is because Eraserhead kept him quirkless for most of the fight. Had he not done that, I really think, maybe there's 1 out of 1,000 realities where they still could have ended in this situation. I think the remaining 999 would have ended with most of them, if not all of them, completely dead and skewered. And that's him not even at full capacity with his powers. That's just him with a little bit of a limited quirk. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm actually liking how they're continuing to let other characters other than the main crew get some spotlight. Like, we really haven't seen Ochako in a long time in this arc, and we haven't seen a lot of these random heroes that I don't know the names of, but seeing them rescue the people, showing that it's not just like, oh, when we're focusing on Deku doing something cool, or Bakugo doing something cool, or Endeavor blowing a fool apart to the point that he looks like an overburnt steak. The fact of the matter is, there's other heroes rescuing, and it's just as important because, I mean, you can defeat the villain all you want, but as you defeat the villain, if there's no one left to save at the end, I mean, what's the point of it, right? I mean, the city would be completely plowed over. There'd literally be no people left alive. So to see them all have their moment and how they so easily kind of focus on Toga, because the last time we really got to see Toga's psyche was when Twice died, and she very much felt like she was losing it. So to see her be relatively calm up till the end, it was a kind of a interesting feeling, because it's like, oh, maybe she's not as psycho as maybe they were making her out at the start. And then you see the old woman, and immediately the old woman gave me red flags. I was like, okay, you're taking her down the alleyway, you're trying to do all this, like, that's gotta be Toga. But then she starts sprinting, and the way they detailed the animation, I was like, oh, that's actually just an old woman who's trying to save her loved one, but then Toga will drop in and maybe kill her or something, and then she transforms, and I'm like, why do I second guess myself? Second guessing never does me any good, but sometimes anime directing can be really spot on to allow it to feel so different than what you're used to. And it really does a great job at making you feel like, damn, this season is just on point. Like, we're literally 10 episodes into season 6, and I wouldn't change a damn thing so far. Like, I really think this is the best My Hero's ever been. It feels like payoff. It feels like just the directing in general. Like, if you look at a lot of the camera work, especially if you look at the house scene when she's about to get jumped and stabbed, there's a lot more dynamic camera work. It feels like the camera's constantly in a 360 motion where it can spin in any direction, in any angle, where in prior seasons it's a lot more static, or it only goes 180 at maximum. But I really gotta hand it to Bones this season, man. Like, you know, you don't force them to do a movie and a season alongside each other, and the series definitely pops a lot more, I have to say. And it's gonna be very exciting to see how the remaining, I imagine, at least 2 or 3 episodes go before this section of the arc stops. They gotta regroup, and then maybe some other crazy shit hits the fan or something. But either way, it ain't looking good. I mean, even if you come out victorious on the hero's side, how many people are dead? How many people are wounded? How much of the city is even left standing? It goes a long way to show that hero society is starting to fall, and maybe fall's not the right word. Crumbled, destroyed, obliterated might be the better term, but you get my point. But either way, I'll pass the torch over to everyone. What did you think of this week's episode of My Hero, and what do you hope to see going forward in the remaining episodes, not only of just maybe this section of the story, but the remaining core in general? Because luckily this bad boy's carrying into winter, and I mean, I'm always excited for more My Hero, but when you get an arc as quality as this, your excitement definitely increases, even if you already were. And for those who have been a little rocky, a little teeter-tottering, or do they even like My Hero anymore, I think this season has rejuvenated them. But of course, you let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Like I mentioned, you can support the Patreon, got a full live reaction to today's episode, and you can also get video shoutouts like a few are about to get here. So we got Baki Neko, Rob Edigo, and Coco X Large. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.